Now, it's a year since the London Olympics captured the world's attention, but what has the lasting legacy of those games been? Nick Owen is at the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham. And Nick, what's going on there this evening?
Well, it's a training night for Birchfield Harriers, Mary, in the beautiful evening sunshine. And athletes of all ages and ambitions are pounding away, inspired, no doubt, by some of the great names produced by the Harriers over the years. I mean, in modern times, the likes of Denise Lewis, Mark Lewis-Francis, Kelly Southerton and Catherine Merry have learnt their craft here. And before that, Harriers nurtured the Man Mountain, Jeff Capes, Peter Radford, Ian Stewart and Robbie Brightwell, to name just a few. How they'd have loved to have competed this time last year when the London Olympics brought the whole country together in a celebration of sport, as you said. But have they achieved the promise of a longer lasting legacy of greater sporting participation? Well, on the plus side, Sport England have reported a rise in the number of people in the West Midlands taking part in sport at least once a week. But with councils facing drastic budget cuts, some sports facilities are facing closure. Nick Clitheroe's been investigating the Olympic legacy.
An Olympic medalist opens a new hockey pitch in Stourport, funded by Olympic legacy money. The joy of their bronze medal success in London has caught the imagination of the next generation.
More of an influx into hockey with the youngsters and with women wanting to come not only fresh into the sport but also back into the sport because they've been inspired by what they've seen. So if our performances help that, that's what we wanted out of the Games.
We're going to be running 6 ladies sides next year instead of 5 because we've seen a real growth and interest in the sport. Mums in particular who've got grown-up children and have come back into the game.
And hockey's not the only sport to benefit. There's also a cycling circuit here which will be floodlit in future after another grant from Sport England. This is what the Olympic legacy is supposed to be about, inspiring young people's enthusiasm for sport. But the picture's not so bright elsewhere. Swimming was one of the big losers at London 2012. They failed to reach their minimum medal target and lost £4 million in funding. And there's another problem. Councils across the country are having to make big budget cuts. Sport and leisure are taking the brunt. In the Midlands, that's already started to bite, with 2 pools in Stoke-on-Trent shut. The pool at Foleshill in Coventry is earmarked for closure, while Walsall Council is considering the future of the Gala Baths. In Worcester, a planned new pool is on hold, while Birmingham City Council shelve plans for the city's first 50-metre pool. Dave Marsh has been involved with West Midlands swimming for more than 30 years. He was also the first coach of Paralympic champion Ellie Simmons. He fears the closure of pools won't just hit elite swimmers.
Without the pools, there won't be people taught to swim. There will not be a sport. Yeah, the children will start drowning. They will go for a swim in the local lake, which will be cold, they will get cramp, they will drown. It's something it just doesn't bear thinking about.
It's a stark warning that there's still a major threat to the Olympic legacy. Nick Clitheroe, BBC Midlands Today.
So, a mixed picture of the Olympic legacy in the Midlands. Joining me now to talk about it are Dave Long from Sport England and the chair of Birchfield Harriers, Andy Paul. Good evening to you both. Dave, first of all, we're talking about an increase in participation, but not a great one. Is that disappointing?
Not really, because I think when you look at participation and you take into account actually when we won the Olympic Games bid back in 2005 in the West Midlands, we're talking about an extra nearly almost 100,000 people doing sport these days.
So that is a good thing. However, swimming pools are a problem.
They are, and it's probably because of the price of keeping the venues going in the modern sort of era and cuts and so on. It's always going to be a problem. I think there's going to be another 50-metre pool coming around about in Birmingham University shortly, though.
Understandable that councils have to make priorities.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes sport is first in line when it comes to cuts. With local authorities have got to look after things like social services and so on. It's obviously one of the things that they sometimes say expendable.
Ironic, isn't it? It's a year ago today, I think, the Olympics kicked off with football at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. And ever since then, it's been headlines about conflict and controversy.
Yes, I was there, and unfortunately, I've had a season ticket since 1969. It's not pretty, really.
It's broken your heart.
Absolutely, and I'm not going to Northampton either.
Andy, Andy, you've had a surge of interest here, haven't you?
Yes, we have. I think we ran an induction day straight after the Olympic Games, just before the Paralympics, and we ran another one in October, and we saw probably a fourfold increase in the interest in our sport particularly, yes.
Can you maintain that, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we had an induction just last weekend, and another 85 young people with desires to achieve and perform to the very best level turned up, you know, so there is certainly that sort of continued for us, yes.
Can you cope with the numbers?
Capacity issue is a biggie for us. We're a group of volunteers to all intents and purposes, so we've got to recruit coaches as well. We found 4 or 5 more coaches since the Games, but more would be good.
Yeah, and what about the whole thing about exercise and keeping fit? I mean, is it a problem convincing the greater, wider public that they need to be fit?
Well, I think that's where sport can play a part. You know, we've talked about cuts, as you say, but I think sports and certainly athletics can help get people fit, because running in itself is one of the best ways to keep fit. Whether you run slowly, run fast, run, jog, walk, you know, that sort of activity is fantastic for health.
Yeah, and coming to you, I mean, is it a major issue for you, convincing people they've got to get out there and do something?
I think so. I mean, there are special groups, you know, there's groups like, you know, young girls and so on, and there are special provisions in place from sporting to make sure that these people are right at the forefront when it comes to actually getting them out and competing in sport.
But overall, you seem both pretty pleased and optimistic about the way things are.
Absolutely.
Both of you, thanks very much indeed. Thank you.